Should I do some kung fu here? Okay, make it interesting for the people. And I'll fuck my hand up.
Break your hand.
Okay, anyway. Hi guys, it's Clown from Flipping Nuts, and today we're going to be doing our side cutters comparisons. So we've got a couple of different brands here, alright? So what we're going to do is, we're going to run them through different tests, the sharpness test, we're going to run it through a strength test, and actually just see which one performs the best at the end of the day. So what we have over here is, we have a Yatu, alright? This one is made in China. Then we have the Will. Also made in China. We have a Mac Africa. It's not specific on where it's made. Then we have a Fragram, which is also made in China. Then we have Inco, which is also made in China. Then we have Stanley. Stanley is also made in China. And then we have Jador Red, which is made in Taiwan. Alright guys, I hope you enjoy this video. This is the sharpness test, right? We're gonna see if all of these side cutters can actually cut this little piece of string. So first up, we have Yatu. Quite easily. Next up, we have Stanley. Not of the sharpest. That was a little bit more difficult. Then we have our Will. Definitely not the sharpest. That was even worse than the Stanley. So far, Yatu's doing best. Then we have our Fragram. Okay, here we go. That is by far worse off than all we've done. The sharpness test. Then we have our Autonoff. It wasn't too bad at all. Really not too bad. Cut quite easily. Then we have our Inco. Also very nice on the sharpness test. That was very easily done. And then last but not least, we have our Jador. That is super sharp. That cut without any force required. Alright guys, so now we're going to use these side cutters for what it's intended for, to cut cabling. So this is 3-core, 2.5mm Surfax. Alright, so let's see how the Yatu once again does on cutting what it's supposed to be used for. There she goes. And over here, we can actually see there's a lot of distortion. So next up, it's the Stanley. Actually, that was a little bit better than the Yatu. This is the Will, and in the handling aspect, it's very uncomfortable. Definitely does struggle to cut. As we can see, when we struggle, we get a lot of distortion. Right, now we have our Fragram again.
Okay, that's grabbed out.
Okay, that it does not work properly. Right, so next up, it's our Autonoff. Not too bad, but we still have a lot of distortion. Our second lost, Inco. Let's see how Inco does. Very nicely done. That was very easy for the Inco.
That distortion is not bad.
And the distortion was not bad at all. And then last up, we have our Jador Red. Ooh. That was by far the easiest.
Screen cutters.
And we have a very good clean cut. Now it's time for the torture test. So what we're going to be doing is taking this 5mm threaded rod, which it's not intended for, but we're going to cut this and obviously now see on the strength side how much punishment can these cutting edges take of these side cutters. Alright? So let's give it a go. Alright guys, so what we got was, it didn't really make a good cut at all. It could not cut it actually. So, but what happened is, the handles actually distorted, they bent. They're not in alignment anymore. This Yatu could not cut this 5mm threaded rod at all. Right guys, so next up, it's a standy. Let's see what standy does. Right, so Stanley just did 15 cuts and there's no visible results of any damage done to these side cutters at all, apart from the grip. But I mean, we're putting out an extreme force, so that will naturally happen. But the blade is progressively becoming blunt, but as for Stanley, pretty damn good. Right, so next up, it's our will. Alright guys, so for our will, we did 15 cuts as well, and what we can say is it is definitely more difficult to cut with than the Stanley. Alright, but as for blade wearing and the sharpness, it was coming down slowly, but there's no actual damage to the blade. Alright guys, so now it's time for the fragram.
Yeah.
Fragram could not cut this 5mm rod. It struggled and struggled and struggled. Definitely not a good side cutters. Right guys, now it's time for the on and off. So the grip crushed. So we're going to clamp it on the steel just to give this thing a proper run. Alright, so as for the on and off, it cuts very easily. I do not struggle much at all. Obviously it was just the case of the grip that made us struggle quite a bit. But other than that, as for a durability test and as for sharpness test, definitely good. As for torture test, it's definitely a durable side cutter. Right guys, time for the Inco. Alright, so as for the Inco, the grip survived, which is a good thing. It cuts a little bit more difficult than the other two before, but other than that, it's durable. It's a very good side cutter. Alright guys, it's time for the Jador, the red line. So as for the Jador, the grip seems to have survived. It cuts with minimal force. It is very easy to use and it's a very good side cutter if you ask me.
But will it cut a drill bit?
But here's the thing, will it cut a drill bit?
Fuck me, it cut it. Actually cut the fucking drill bit.
And I didn't even struggle. I didn't push hard, bro. Just push. Guys, so the Jador by far has impressed us the most. Let's see what the Will did, because the Will was the next best. Right, so next up we're gonna do a drill bit with the Stanley. Alright guys, so our Stanley over here, it cut the drill bit, yes indeed. Wasn't very difficult, but the blade has taken damage, which leaves it in third place. Alright guys, so now we're gonna try and see how strong this Inco is with a drill bit cut. Alright, so as for Inco, it's done. It's got a clear gap, blades are stuffed now, and it was very difficult to cut that drill bit. Alright guys, now it's Mac Africa, which is the on and off drill bit cut. Let's see how she does. Alright, so I just cut that very, very easily. That was 3 mil. That was a 3 mil drill bit. So now we're going up to a 4 mil. Let's see if we can cut the 4 mil. There we go. Alright, so Mac Africa on and off, it definitely cut, was very difficult. Okay, but that's a very tough piece of steel to cut, but it definitely damaged the blade now. So as for on and off, really not bad, just some work on the grip. Alright guys, so now we're putting the 4 mil in here for the will. Let's see how strong Will's will is. There we go. So the blade has a very slight breakdown of the cutting face, but in turn this is a very good side cut. Alright guys, so now it's time to see what our Jador red line can do on our 4 mil drill bit. Oh! Alright guys, so this is our Jador red line. Well, it's split in two. The blade took heavy damage. Cutting face is not good at all anymore. So Jador is the first one that actually split. Right, so our will is number 1 right now. But now we really want to see what this side cutter can do. So what we have done is we've placed the 6 mil drill bit in here, and well, it still survives. Nice shit.
Okay, Will won't.
Broke the wall. Right, so we just destroyed Will's will to live. The 6 mil one will broke. So what we're going to be showing you guys is exactly price-wise to durability, what's your best side cutters to buy exactly. So over here we had our Yato. This is our Yato over here. This was the first to fail, could not cut the threaded rod, absolutely uncomfortable to use as well. And on the price region for that Yato, it was sitting in third place. So for the price on the Yato, it was the third most expensive. Right, then next up we had our one over here, which is our Fragram. Our Fragram, well, it's not bad to use, it's got very comfortable. This one failed on the 5 mil threaded rod, unfortunately. But in the price region over here, we have it sitting at the 6th most expensive. So it's actually a rather cheap price. And then we have our Inco over here. This one did very well as well, especially for its price range. Since it is the cheapest, it did not right in the middle over here. Can't complain about it. Just had some damage to the blade, obviously, when we cut the drill bits. So very good. I mean, for 75 Rand, you can definitely not complain. Right, then we have our Stanley over here. Our Stanley failed in 4th place, which is pretty good. But in the price region, oh, it also came 4th in the price region, so it's the 4th most expensive one. Not too bad on the Stanley. And that failed obviously during our drill bits cutting, on our 3 mil drill bits. Right, so this is our Mac Africa. Really did not do bad, just obviously we had to remove the grip because it didn't work in our machine. Very good side cutters. This one came in 3rd place. This one failed on our drill bits on the 4 mm. Could not cut the 4 mm. And in the price region, it is also sitting at the 5th most expensive. But for 3rd place, 100 bucks. Come on, you can't complain. Right, then we got our Jador red line. Okay, this one, look, we forced this, so it is an absolutely good side cutter. This failed on cutting a 5mm drill bit, so yeah, we'll still fix this and use it again. Our Jador is the most expensive out of the lot, but it came 2nd place. And what surprised us the most naturally was our will. That's why we had to test its will. So we broke this on a 6mm, okay, drill bit, which was absolutely impressive because it still cut the 5mm, which we did not even expect it to be able to do. And this will came up in the 2nd most expensive, but it became 1st place in durability. And I mean, our blades didn't even take strain. The blades are still good to cut with. So if you weld this back together, you can use it again. Right guys, so for more videos like this, please like, share and subscribe and comment over there. Please let us know on different things you would like us to compare. You know, people have their own different points of views and things like that. Let us know what that might be and hit that bell notification once again so that you can stay tuned to Flipping Nuts.